What if the years you believe you wasted are actually the most important years of your life? What if every job you quit, every failure you faced, and every moment you felt completely lost was secretly preparing you for something extraordinary? Most people think success comes from choosing one path and sticking to it forever. But what if the real secret is something nobody talks about? What if the confusion, the mistakes, the wandering, and the years where nothing seems to work are actually building the exact skills your future success will depend on? Today, I want to tell you a story about a man who spent 8 long years looking like a complete failure. People laughed at him. They whispered behind his back. They called him unfocused. They called him a quitter. But what nobody realized was this: while the world believed he was wasting time, he was quietly becoming someone extraordinary. And one day, in just 30 days, everything changed. The same people who mocked him stood in silence, because the man they thought was lost had suddenly become the one person everyone needed. If you have ever felt behind in life, if you have ever felt like everyone else has their life figured out except you, then listen carefully, because this story might completely change the way you see your own journey. Long ago, in a peaceful village surrounded by forests and wide green fields, there lived a young man named Arthur. Arthur was 35 years old. He was hardworking, but he had no idea what he truly wanted to do in life. While his childhood friends were settling down, starting families, and building businesses, Arthur seemed to drift from one thing to another. First, he tried farming. He worked in the fields for 6 months, but deep inside, he felt no passion for it. Eventually, he left. Then he started working in the village marketplace, helping merchants. At first, it seemed promising, but after nearly a year, he realized he felt empty again, so he walked away. Later, he tried helping at the small village school, teaching young children. But even there, he felt like something was missing. Again, he left. Soon people in the village began to talk. "Arthur is wasting his life," they whispered. "He is talented, but he cannot commit to anything." One evening his father said to him, "Son, when will you finally choose a path? When will you become someone?" Arthur had no answer, because the truth was, he didn't know. Night after night, he would sit outside his small house staring at the stars, asking himself the same painful question: what is wrong with me? Why can't I figure my life out? But something important was happening that nobody else could see. After leaving farming, Arthur began learning carpentry from an old craftsman named Elias. Elias was one of the finest woodworkers in the region. For nearly 3 years, Arthur learned how to cut, shape, and carve wood. He learned patience, precision, and the art of turning raw timber into beauty. Then one day, he moved on again. People shook their heads. "There he goes again," they said. Next, Arthur spent 2 years working with the village blacksmith Victor. Victor taught him how to work with fire and iron. Arthur learned how to heat metal until it glowed, bend it with strength, and transform rough iron into powerful tools. But after 2 years, Arthur moved on once again. The whispers in the village grew louder. Arthur the quitter, people called him. After that, Arthur began working with the village writer and record keeper. There he learned reading, writing, and storytelling. For 2 more years, he studied words, history, and language. Then he left again. By the time Arthur turned 33, he had studied under several masters. Yet in the eyes of the village, he had achieved nothing. His younger brother owned land, had a family, and was respected. Arthur seemed to have nothing, or so everyone believed. One cold evening, the village elder stopped Arthur in the town square. "Arthur," the old man said kindly but firmly, "you are 33 now. When will you stop wandering? When will you become someone?" The words pierced Arthur's heart. That night, he went home and sat alone. For the first time in years, he broke down. 8 years, he whispered to himself. 8 years of trying. And I have nothing to show. He looked down at his hands. They were rough from working wood, scarred from metalwork, stained with ink from writing. I am a failure, he said quietly to the empty room. A 33-year-old failure. The next morning Arthur walked past the blacksmith shop. Old Victor called out, "Arthur, come here for a moment." Arthur walked over slowly, expecting another lecture. But Victor looked at him differently, with understanding. "Do you know what you really are?" Victor asked. Arthur sighed. "A failure," he replied softly. Victor laughed, a deep, knowing laugh. "No," he said, "you are something rare." Arthur looked confused. "In the past 8 years," Victor continued, "you have learned from several masters. Woodwork, metalwork, writing, trade, teaching. Do you realize what that means?" Arthur shook his head. "You have been building something extraordinary," Victor said. "Each skill changed your mind. Each experience added a new piece. Your brain has been adapting and growing. You are becoming someone this village has never seen before, a man with many skills in one body." Arthur felt something shift inside him. "But I quit everything," he said. Victor shook his head. "You didn't quit. You collected pieces. And one day those pieces will connect." 3 weeks later, something unexpected happened. A wealthy nobleman arrived in the village looking for craftsmen. He gathered everyone in the square. "I want a magnificent entrance gate built for my estate," the nobleman announced. "It must include carved wooden designs, detailed iron patterns, and written inscriptions telling my family story." The villagers began discussing. The carpenter stepped forward. "My lord, I can do the wood, but not the metal or the writing." The blacksmith said, "I can shape the iron, but I cannot carve wood or write." The writer added, "I can write the story, but I cannot build the structure." The nobleman sighed. "So I need 3 different craftsmen? That will take months." Suddenly, Arthur stepped forward. His heart was racing. "My lord," he said carefully, "I can build all of it." The crowd went silent. Then whispers started. Then laughter. "Arthur?" Someone mocked. "The man who never finishes anything." The nobleman looked at him carefully. "You can do all 3?" Arthur nodded. "Give me 30 days." After studying him for a moment, the nobleman agreed. 30 days, he said. "But if you fail, you will repay me for the wasted time." Arthur accepted, and he began working. Day 1, he selected the perfect wood. His hands remembered everything Elias had taught him. Every cut was precise. Day 10, he began shaping the iron. Victor's lessons guided every strike of the hammer. The metal curved into elegant patterns. Day 20, he carved the inscriptions. The words flowed smoothly, just as he had learned from the village writer. And as Arthur worked, a realization slowly filled his heart. All those years, all those different paths, all those moments he believed he was wasting time. They were preparing him for this. Nothing had been useless. Every experience was a piece of the puzzle. On the 30th day, the gate was finished. When the nobleman returned, the entire village gathered to watch. The cloth covering the gate was pulled away. Silence filled the square. The wooden carvings looked alive. The ironwork shimmered with beauty. The inscriptions were elegant and powerful. The nobleman examined the work closely. "This is master craftsmanship," he said. "How did you learn all this?" Arthur smiled quietly. "For years I worked on myself in silence," he said. "While others believed I was lost, I was becoming." The village elder stepped forward, amazed. "I never realized," he admitted. Arthur replied softly, "Mastery is rarely built in public. It is built in quiet moments when nobody is watching." Within months, people from nearby villages began requesting Arthur's work. The man once called a failure had become the most respected craftsman in the region. But Arthur never forgot what those years had taught him, because he knew the truth. The years that look like failure are often the years that build the strongest foundations. If you feel lost today, if you feel behind, if you feel like everyone else has already figured life out, remember this. You are not wasting time. You are collecting pieces. You are learning. You are growing. And one day, those pieces will connect in ways you never imagined. Work on yourself quietly. Let success speak for you. And remember, the person who looks lost today may become the master the world needs tomorrow.